I mean, I was worried about it. I remember telling you, like, man, this can't be good. Like, that's how it always happens in the movies, right?
Hi everybody, welcome to Brantley Family Hope. I'm Rachel Brantley and this is my husband, Will Brantley. And we have been on an 8-month journey of cancer.
For those of you who don't know, I was diagnosed with stage 4 nasopharyngeal squamous cell carcinoma back last December, so almost 9 months ago now. It's been a wild ride. We have a lot of other content and more videos to make sharing all of that story. But our goal is to share the good things that God has done for us and hopefully be an encouragement to others. So if that's something that resonates with you, please take a minute to like and subscribe below. That would mean a lot to us. We're hoping to reach people with this message. Today, the topic of this video is life before cancer. So really we're just kind of going through the 6 months or so leading up to cancer, to my cancer diagnosis rather, some of the symptoms that looking back now are odd that we can recognize were cancer, but at the time we didn't know. And just what life looked like how normal it was, how many other things we were dealing with leading into such a crazy diagnosis. So maybe we'll start with kind of coincides with the first thing we're going to share about over a year ago now. Not this June, but it would have been May or June in 2022. I first noticed a couple different things. So I had blood in my phlegm. So like if I'd hock a loogie, not to be gross, but you know, if I'd hock a loogie, I'd have blood in it.
Not like copious amounts, but enough to still be like,
yeah,
this doesn't seem that normal.
I mean, I was worried about it. I remember telling you, like, man, this can't be good. Like, that's how it always happens in the movies, right? The king or someone, you know, he goes into a back room and no one knows he's coughing up blood, and then he dies. And I was like, this can't be good.
He wasn't coughing up blood.
I wasn't coughing up blood, but I was spitting up blood pretty consistently. And then another symptom that came up off and on was my ears would crackle and pop. It felt like I had, you know, Rice Krispies in my ears. Like they would crackle and pop, and then they get plugged. I wouldn't be able to unplug them. And I went to the doctor, doing my due diligence because I felt like it wasn't right. And he thought it was just allergies. So he thought my allergies were causing, you know, dryness and the blood in the phlegm. He thought because the allergies, I had some inflammation that was pressing on my eustachian tubes. So he just prescribed a nasal spray. And I didn't think much of it. I said, okay, well, I guess that's kind of a common thing.
And you use the humidifier or something.
Use the humidifier. Yeah. And it didn't necessarily solve all those issues, but they were kind of intermittent. They would go away, so they fool you, right? Like I shy away from bringing every single thing to the doctor because I feel like sometimes I would do that and not get answers. So I kind of shied away, and it would resolve a little bit. And so I wouldn't bring it back up. But this was going on over a couple months. But early on there, that last summer, we had a busy summer. Rachel was pregnant. We were getting ready to have a baby. And I think the first trip we took was the trip to California. Yeah. If you want to share a little bit about that, it was fun.
Yeah, we went to California. It was for a funeral, so that part wasn't fun. But we took the whole family, and it was the kids' first time at the beach, and our oldest just fell in love with it. She still wants to go back. But yeah, it was just a great time, and we were able to see a lot of Will's family too, which was really special, spending time with them.
Yeah, it was really nice connecting. I have kind of in some ways, a broken family. I think everyone has some dysfunction, but I have some brokenness in my family. But it was really wonderful. I was able to reconnect with my Uncle Mike, and hopefully to reconnect with more of his side of the family soon. He's like my great uncle or something like that. But felt a lot of closeness there, and it was really an awesome time to kind of kindle that relationship. I hadn't seen him since I was a kid. So that was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, and your cousin?
My cousin Rory also, and we've been able to visit with both Rory and my Uncle Mike since, which was awesome. I have another video where Rory and I were playing some music together if you're interested. But that was a lot of fun, just to reconnect with those guys. And then it's interesting since reconnecting, because I got cancer, we've been able to kind of stay in touch with them too.
Yeah.
Which has been really neat.
Yeah, and then in June we celebrated our anniversary in March, but we had our little staycation for our anniversary in June.
It was delayed because we didn't have a babysitter.
Yeah, and it was just really, March is just a pretty busy time of year in general. So
that's when our anniversary is, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was really special. It was really, really enjoyable. We went and saw Top Gun in theater. Yeah, and that was really fun.
Man, Top Gun's a good movie.
Yeah.
You know, you can't leave that movie feeling unpatriotic. Like, it's an exciting movie. You'll miss out a little bit now if it's not in the theater. So if you have a friend with a big TV, or you have a big TV, turn up the surround sound. But man, I can't recommend Top Gun enough. I think it's made it into my top list of movies.
It's pretty good. Yeah, and then in July we went to Arizona, which is a really cool little park where you drive through and see wildlife.
Up near Williams.
And Williams. And then we stayed in Sedona. And that was just our family, our immediate family, just with the kids. And it was such a special trip that just made me want to make it a priority from then on. Just like, it has to be mandatory. Like, we have to do this, because it was just
a trip like that every year, or a trip to Arizona specifically?
No, just in general with our family.
No getaways.
It's just so good for the family and for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interestingly though, that was one of the first time I remember, or one of the early times where I remember on the drive up. So it's up near Williams. There's a big jump in elevation, which is not kind of common for your ears to plug, right? But I remember they plugged, and I'd been having them plug and crackle, and I tried the spray he gave me,
and some eardrops too.
Some eardrops, and it didn't work. And I didn't know what I suspected. I didn't think cancer. But yeah, Arizona, that's another one. If you want to make a great weekend, watch Top Gun, go to Arizona, go to Sedona.
Yeah.
Down at Oak Creek, they have Slide Rock, and you can go swimming, the Red Rocks. It was pretty cool. When we were up there, we stayed up there a few days, and we used credit card points only for vacation stuff. So we don't keep a balance on there. We don't have debt in that way, but we use the points. We get to rack up the points by paying bills with our points and whatnot, to get cheap hotels. And so our stay in both in California and Sedona was like free.
Now, not cheap hotels to stay in, but just that.
It didn't cost us money. Not hole in the wall is not what I mean. It didn't cost us money. So that's a lot of fun. Yeah, hopefully we could do more of that. I have some, believe it or not, I was gone half the year, but I still have PTO that I have to use. So I'm grateful for that, but we got to figure out how we're going to use that. Maybe we can visit some folks. Reach out if you want us to visit, and you got a place for us, because we're broke.
But during...
just kidding, but seriously.
But during my pregnancy, Will had been redoing the bathroom. And so it was 1994, and now it's all updated.
Meaning the decor, the house was built in 1994 and it hadn't been updated.
Yeah, so he finished about 2 weeks before the baby was due.
Yeah, it was kind of, maybe we'll share some pictures in here or something, but it was like all the way to the studs. Went from a shower to a bathtub, kind of a full renovation, not just a refresh. So
Yeah.
took me a while. I'm not a contractor, so it took me a little bit longer to do things, but we got it done.
You figured it out, yeah.
Just in the nick of time to have the baby, which is like a theme with me, getting home improvements done right before the baby arrives.
That was fun. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in September, baby came. Awesome. Amazing.
Cute little girl.
Yeah, and I remember our thing that we liked to do was we watched Alone at bedtime, the show Alone.
The survival show?
Yeah. And I would order Macayos, and so we'd get Macayos and watch Alone, and that was a very special memory that I had. I liked that a lot. When the baby was sleeping, it took her a long time to actually get on a routine. So it took about 2 months, and then she finally started sleeping. That brings about to November, I'd say. And then November, our family car broke down.
Yes, I was on paternity leave for about 3 months.
Yeah, and so in the last 2 weeks of maybe it was like, I don't know, I can't remember, but
the last third.
Yeah, the car had about $8,000 worth of work that needed to be done on it. So Will purchased all the parts, and he worked on it every single day for about 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, we have 2 vehicles, and we only have one that fits everybody. And so we had recently purchased it last summer, and I know some things, but it's a Toyota, so I wanted to take it to a Toyota specialist, have them, flush the transmission, do some things, and give it a once over. So I brought it to the Toyota master technician, not the Toyota dealership, and he came back with like a $8,000 to $10,000 laundry list of parts and of repairs, and some of them were real crucial, but some were contingent on others, right? So it's kind of like you get. My analogy is like you get surgery in your knee, and then your other knee goes bad because you're walking funny. It's kind of like that, like with suspension parts and stuff. So I wound up rebuilding the whole suspension and steering system and everything on the Sequoia, and we thought that was like
it was a big
trial in a way. Like I like doing that work, but not when it's an emergency and when we don't have another car that can fit everyone, right?
Yeah.
So if it was like just a project and we had other cars, then yeah, great, that's kind of fun. But it was like probably 6 days of 12-hour days running around getting parts, going back, working on the truck, like crazy. Turned out well, drives well, take some pride in it because I like doing that kind of thing and having something to show for the work I did with my hands. But yeah, these were the trials, right? Another thing we had going on is I had this is so funny now. Well, maybe funny is not the word. Maybe not like ha funny, but like wow. So had a baby, so there's some stress there, just natural stress. Car breaks down, and I think that's not the end of the world, but sometimes I have some impatience. And then I get the results of
your annual physical.
Annual physical back, and the doctor,
all the blood work looked good.
Yeah, well, he kind of commends me for being in shape and healthy, and I had a little bit, better BMI than the year before. Been in the gym working out. Actually, in fact, I didn't share that part. It's relevant relating to my hip surgery. Is that whole year of 2022, I'd been in the gym. I'd established a really good habit of waking up, going to bed early, like 8 o'clock, and waking up at 4 a.m. most days of the week and going to the gym. And so I'd been in the gym doing squats. I'm not some kind of muscle man or anything like that, but I was doing deep, I call them ass to grass squats, right? So I was going full range of motion with weight, and I didn't even feel any pain in my hip at all. Didn't have a clue. So don't get paranoid, but do your due diligence. So but he's telling me, yeah, you're in pretty good shape, but then my cholesterol was a little bit high. And I was really troubled by that. Like I remember being frightened, like, oh man, like I got to get this in shape, because it was like 2 years in a row that my cholesterol was a little bit high, and I didn't want to have a heart attack. And it's not funny, but it is kind of funny looking back now, like these things that we're troubled with. It's almost cliche to say it puts it in perspective, but it does.
Pales in comparison.
Definitely pales in comparison to stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
Boom, you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it's very crazy.
Then, other symptoms that I noticed. I went back to the gym like at the end of paternity leave once. I've been out for a couple months after we had the baby. So I was going to ease my way back in. And I remember going much lighter than I had before, so I wouldn't get super sore. And I remember doing squats. And I didn't struggle. My 5th set, I came up and in the back, my rib popped. I thought it was really weird. Like it was strange. And I just thought it hurt a lot. And I thought, well, maybe I just didn't warm up enough. But it didn't make sense, because it was my 5th set. I was warm. And sure enough, one of my lesions from the cancer wound up being in my ribs. So I don't know if I actually cracked a rib when that happened. Or...
And you also, I remember you saying that you just felt like fragile.
Yeah, I'd be cutting like carrots or something on the cutting board, and kind of that downward chopping motion, and my shoulders were just crackling and popping. And I remember telling you, like, man, I'm spitting up blood, like my back popped. Oh, and then like 2 days following my back popping, it was just like the pain built to where it was like hard to get out of bed and stuff. And then it kind of healed. Like I feel fragile, my shoulders and stuff. I also lost a bunch of weight, like probably 15 pounds, 10, 15 pounds. Sort of inexplicably. There might have been other causes that we could talk about later, but I wasn't really trying to lose weight. But I didn't know. I did not think it would be cancer.
Yeah, and just to follow up, he did go to the ENT doctor, I think once or twice. Yeah, ears, nose, and throat. And, he had a little enlarged node here that he pointed out, but they didn't, they thought maybe it was just like a virus. And then they checked the pressure in your ears. And
yeah, I went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor because, and this was maybe a mistake, my insurance doesn't require a referral. So I didn't go back and follow up with my general practitioner about the things. I kind of moved straight on to the ear, nose, and throat doctor because that's what he said he would do next. Maybe it would have been better to talk to the general practitioner again. But I went to them, and they didn't think it was anything. They thought it was allergies still. I told them, well, they said that before and it wasn't helping.
They gave you a different nasal spray.
Yeah. I also said, what about this lymph node? This was in October. I said, what about this lymph node? I said, it's probably nothing. And I kind of pressed on. I said, well, I have all these symptoms. They're weird. I'm also sensitive to sound all of a sudden, like when my kids scream. Like no one likes little kids screaming in their ear necessarily, but I would like wince, like when I would hear a loud sound like that, it would make me kind of shudder because it hurt. He said, well, there's nothing we can do about that. And I got frustrated and kind of pressed him, like, okay, well, I'm not making this up. Like, what else can we do? Like, are these things related? I might sound silly to you, maybe they're not related. And so they conceded, and they prescribed me an oral steroid, and which I hesitated to take. I wound up taking it. Didn't do anything, obviously, because it doesn't cure cancer. And they scheduled we'll wait 2 months and we'll have an ultrasound. Or you can have an ultrasound, here's a script for that, and then we'll meet again in 2 months. And so, interestingly, a little teaser for next time, that ultrasound was scheduled to happen 2 days after I wound up discovering I had cancer. So we'll tell the rest of that story next time, but pretty wild. We want to just share a little bit, like life was kind of normal. We had normal everyday challenges that people face. Didn't expect this. So it was an interesting run up. Some joy, right? A lot of joy, a lot of trials. and then culminating in whoa, cancer. So thanks for following along. Again, if you like our content, it would really mean a lot to us if you like and subscribe below. You know, and if you find it in your heart, share it with others. We're hoping, not all our videos are just long stories. We're also hoping to share encouragement and witness about the good things God's done for us. So see you next time.
Bye.